Hello everyone, I'm Captain Logan, and we're ready to get this show on the road. As the review spot might say, I'm pleased as a delicious bowl of punch to finally announce the contestants for Who Reviews the Reviewers. All the judges' votes are in, and they've all told me this wasn't an easy task. We've had an overwhelming response with 27 audition videos. We had reviewers tackling everything from video games to action figures to comics to movies to card games. I want to personally thank each and every one of the reviewers who entered. Unfortunately, there were a lot of good reviewers and more than we could select for the contest. If you haven't taken the chance, be sure and check out some of the entries that didn't make the cut, and I certainly hope to see some of those reviewers enter again in the second season. In fact, we had such a great response, we've decided to increase the number of contestants by 2. So instead of 6 contestants, we've actually selected 8. That means 2 more reviewers will get a shot at the great prizes we're giving away, and you'll get to see 2 more awesome challenges. Before I reveal the contestants, let me remind you once again what they'll be playing for. The winner will receive a $50 gift card to Amazon.com, a spot on a review panel with the contest judges, and they'll guest host with Vince and I on an episode of Geeks Not Nerds, the podcast. So without further delay, and in no particular order, the 8 contestants in the Who Reviews the Reviewers contest will be Shades at Night.
This is a great issue. Fraction takes what might have served as an ordinary crossover between a band of villains and a tentpole franchise, and transforms it into a more complex examination on how to balance free speech with flaring tempers, creating a metaphor for the gay rights issues that California were facing at the time of this comic's release. Mark Silvestri isn't my favourite artist, although he does a fantastic job at creating the unstable and chaotic environment portrayed in Fraction's writing. There are certain scenes here that work particularly well, such as Cyclops' confrontation with Toad. Scott has a great line where he reminds Toad that he's been beating him up since he was a teenager, and calls him the most useless cretin on the face of the earth. And I always love the Stepford Cuckoos merely providing witty dialogue in the face of chaos.
Mr. Fusion.
Once again, I take a break from the usual nerdy suspects and dive into the whimsical world of theater. Although, a movie about theater. Anyway, I have my theater jacket, my theater pipe. How much time do I have left? Here's one I happened to stumble upon by a bit of serendipitous luck. 2009's Me and Orson Welles. How this escaped my notice is beyond me, but I'd never heard of it before. It was a critical and film festival darling, but it somehow never managed to get a decent theatrical release. You'd think with it starring Zac Efron, that alone would be enough to bounce it into the eye of the mainstream. Based on the novel by Robert Capello, the film tells the story of Richard, a teen in 1937 who, being at the right place at the right time and possessed by the right amount of BS and testicular fortitude, gets a minor acting role at the Mercury Theatre, hired by none other than a young, pre-Citizen Kane, pre-War of the Worlds, Orson Welles.
Tori GNR 1.
Returning from previous BioWare games like Baldur's Gate and Neverwinter Nights is the party system. You'll be able to take 2 characters with you whenever you leave your starship to assist you in combat and to utilize their unique skills. They will also put their 2 cents in if they agree or disagree on a decision you made, and will affect how friendly they are with you. If you are a Star Wars fan, the story of this game will pull you in right away with a plot twist that you won't see coming at the end. The depth of the story and the characters in this game is amazing, and makes you feel invested in all the characters you meet as well as all the different worlds you set foot on. I found myself reading various Sith texts in the Sith Academy on Korriban about the history of the Sith homeworld, and was amazed at the attention to detail to the backstory of places I could visit throughout the game.
Laser Dude 99.
Now, I'm not saying this is a perfect comic book series. There are some problems with it. For example, in one of the issues, the person that was writing the sound effects for this comic book did a poor job at it. In the issue, whenever Frozone shoots an ice beam, the text actually says freeze. And later in the same issue, when some vines are attacking Mr. Incredible, it uses sounds like grab, nab, snag, and grasp. I didn't know there was a grab sound or a freeze sound. I mean, that's like saying when I open my freezer, I would hear freezer.
The Evil Professor.
The whole point of this game is that we have to follow this first basic rules card. You draw a card, you play a card. And that is awesome. You want to know why that's awesome? I can't remember the rules to most card games, so I don't have much that I need to remember here, so that's great. The gist of it, though, is that we're trying to take these keeper cards, like a shotgun, and we're trying to arrange them to achieve some kind of goal, which in this case is shotgun, and we're trying to avoid these jerks, the creepers, which in this case is a zombie trio. That's the whole gist of the game, right there. The game has a strategic element. You have to be able to kind of decide what cards we should play, what cards should we hold on to, what my opponent might have, what's on the board, what rules should I play, etc., etc. Games can last, 5 minutes to 45 minutes. They can take a really long time.
Mr. Corellian.
And in the Star Wars world, bounty hunting is the rule of cool. And cool, this guy is. He's got a really neat Wild West sort of aesthetic. He's got a pretty good sculpt. He's nice and detailed, as you can see right here in this part under the coat, as well as on his 2 wrist gauntlets. You see a lot of natural-looking wrinkles on this guy's coat, which is good. However, the paint, although it's very neatly applied, is also fairly plain. And on top of a great overall look and aesthetic, he has some pretty good accessories to boot. He's got his 2 little dual pistols. They're silver with a little brown on the hilt. They fit well in his holsters, but unfortunately they don't fit well in his right hand.
The G-Man of EAP.
I love that it's so much about character interactions and relationships, how these superhero characters unknowingly put their family in danger doing what they do and all the consequences it can come. And they spend a lot of time with people, internal monologuing and conversation. While the internal monologuing, there's a lot on screen, and if you're not a comic book fan, you don't know how a panel is laid out. It might be a little confusing, like with all the little word bubbles, but it lends itself to a lot of development. The story revolves a lot around the brainwave that Zatanna did on Dr. Light. I like that there was no definitive this is wrong, this is right kind of falling down on it, because that's what they had to do to make things safe. And I love that, the dilemma of the hero, doing what might not look to be good to save people's life. I love that.
And watch this review.
Although Power Girl really isn't the best work from the line, she's a very strong example of the design philosophies as well as the criticisms it receives, because a lot of people just don't like these faces and tend to associate the line with them. The figure has some little quality issues and stuff, like this weird lean forward. Not sure why I'd lean forward like that. Completely boggles the mind, but I think the line has promise. I just don't particularly like this figure too much.
In each installment of the series, the panel will discuss each reviewer's video based on a challenge designed by myself and Vince. We'll announce the next challenge at the end of each episode, and the contestants will post their videos as a video response to that video. After the judges deliberate, they'll each vote for the reviewer they think should be dropped from the competition, and will vote one person off each episode in reality show style. The contestants will have 1 week to complete their challenge, and the results will be posted once the judges have had time to watch the reviews and record their deliberations for your viewing pleasure. Contestants, this is your first challenge. Review an everyday generic household object. It must be an item that is found in most homes, like cleaning supplies, pieces of furniture, etc. It cannot be something geek-related, i.e. a trash can with Spider-Man on it, a Batman chair, or a Wii. The review must be at least 3 minutes long and no longer than 5. The challenge is to make an interesting and an entertaining video, even when reviewing something that might not be engaging on its own. You have 1 week to complete the challenge. Be sure to post it as a video response to this video, and good luck. Viewers, I think we're all in for a real treat as we watch these reviewers battle it out. Who will ultimately take home the prize? Find out on Who Reviews the Reviewers.